What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Spring Fever. As always, it is me, XFL Jim, and as always, I am joined by the man himself. It is Erik, the man, the myth, the legend. It is Uncle Rico, fresh off of, just taking the top off a turkey, humiliating the ham, devouring the potatoes. What's your go-to side, Erik? What's your favorite side of Thanksgiving? Say it right now. First thing.
Stuffing.
Oh, I know a man like you loves to stuff it and loves a good stuffing. I could tell, baby.
Let me tell you,
You don't call it dressing? I heard people call it dressing. You're stuffing, not dressing?
I'm stuffing guy. So let me tell you what. So my mom, she's hip. She's in the game. She's in her new thing is TikTok recipes. That's her new thing.
Your mom's in it, dude. She's in the major. Okay.
So she saw on TikTok, you take the leftovers, you get a cupcake tin. Is that what they're called?
Mm-hmm.
You get one of those puff pastries. You put it over the tin. You stuff in in each little thing, like a little turkey, little mashed potato, little stuffing, and a little piece of brie, Jim, with a little snippet of brie. Wrap that up, cook it, get a little pastry puff of Thanksgiving bliss.
Is your mom a professional? Is she?
No.
Damn. That's even better, honestly. That's even better. Before we begin talking what everyone is here to talk about, I, of course, have to introduce our sponsor. It is Royal Retros. I need some theme music for Royal Retros. Need to find something good. Something good for Royal Retros. Let's see. 3, 2, 1. You want to go to Royal Retros because they have the best merch in the game. From the LA Wildcats from the XFL in 2020 to the Tampa Bay Bandits down in Florida from the USFL, you can find it all at Royal Retros. Go there, not right now when you're done listening to this show, but go there and use promo code SPRINGFEVER, all one word, all caps, for 10% off at checkout. That's pretty good. I thought that was pretty good.
That was pretty good, dude. That should be our new intro for it.
Oh, dude, I should incorporate that music more. The old 80s USFL, this is the USFL theme song, is, in my opinion, the best, one of the best sports news, themes of all time. Shout out Herb Phillips in the chat. What is up, my man? Today is a very special day, Erik. There's no real sports going on in the spring football world. The X-League's taking this week off. ELF is doing some stuff, but whatever. We're not focused on that. We are focused on the United Football League. A few weeks ago, they announced that they are looking to expand come maybe 2026.
Okay.
Maybe 2027, but they're putting the feelers out there. We already know that they want to do a slow expansion and eventually get team owners. So I put the question to the people out on X.com, the everything app. I put the question out. What cities would be good for UFL expansion? I got a whole list back. This cat is bugging that. I don't know if you can hear that, Erik. I don't know if you can hear this cat pawing away at the door. What up, Boro? What up, dude? Look at this. Look at this chunker. Look at this guy.
Look at that cute little kitty. Maybe he just wants to play on it.
Maybe he wants to talk a little UFL.
Yeah.
So anyway, I have the list right here, Erik. They're in no particular order, but I want to go team by team.
Okay.
And figure out.
Now, do we have to come up with a team name or
No. We're not coming up with team names unless you want to. If you have something that comes off the dome, fire away.
Okay.
But we don't have to come up with team names. We're just seeing if these cities are good at all for the possibility of expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the list right here, Erik. I have your kind of stomping grounds, Chicago. The Windy City. Now remember, I've been doing some research on them. Oh, get down here. I've been doing research, and Chicago did have a team back in 2001 for the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't that great. They did make the playoffs. Okay, this old chunker's got to go. Get on it. Whew. So yeah, Chicago. Back in the day, I don't know. Recently, they have an MLS team, right?
Yeah, but they play at Soldier Field.
The MLS team plays at Soldier Field?
Yeah.
Wow. Diana Troll coming in. Trolley. Hello from Italy. Huge football fan. I hope the UFL. It will. God willing, it will. So where... What's the pros for Chicago?
Big city. Football
Midwest
city.
presence?
Yeah. I mean, the big negative that just comes off for me is where the hell would they play?
So, where would they play?
I mean, the thing is with Soldier Field is it's not owned by the Bears. It's owned by the city of Chicago.
That's fair. I always am a little...
But I don't know if them playing in a stadium like that, how it would look. Northwestern.
What's Soldier Field's capacity?
Jesus, I have no idea. 61,000.
Yeah, it's not as bad as some stadiums in the UFL would be, but that's pretty
thought,
heavy.
Northwestern's right here, but Northwestern's obviously redoing their stadium.
So I did look up a stadium, Eric, and I don't know how likely it is with it. There's a place called SeatGeek Stadium in Chicago.
I have never heard of that place.
I don't know who plays there. It is a soccer-specific... It's in Bridgeview.
This is where the Fire used to play.
Okay. Is it still a thing?
I don't think so.
It is the home stadium of the Chicago Red Stars of the National Women's Soccer League.
Oh.
So...
The only thing it was with Bridgeview is that is like significantly south. And that was the big issue with the Fire, was they weren't drawing enough. Now, the nice thing about Bridgewood is where the stadium is at, and what the Fire did really good is, and you and I have talked about it.
You bring this one up a bunch.
There's a lot of bars there, and they're doing stuff with bars to get people there and everything. And it was doing good, but it's just so far south. It was just really limited with how much it could draw in. The reality of the situation is there's no really good place in Chicago where you could kind of have it unless you worked out a deal with Northwestern, which with their new stadium coming in and everything that's supposed to be, I don't think they'll do. Can you work out a deal with where Northwestern plays soccer? I don't think you can. So I just think that even though Chicago would be awesome, I just don't think unless they can work
it's
out
hard to find a place to play.
Yeah, because the Chicago Park District runs Soldier Field. So, I mean, that would be the only thing.
That's an option, and that's not like a terrible option. It's tough for NFL stadiums just because the optics of the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Like we saw it this last year with like Michigan with the Panthers.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like I even remember back in 2020 when they were drawing like 16,000 like person crowds, and the Guardians were playing at MetLife.
Yeah.
It's tough. Next up on the list, Erik, Seattle. And
I like Seattle. I like Seattle a lot.
I love Seattle as an option. The pros are pretty obvious. They were both in 2020 and 2023. Both versions of the Dragons were one of the bigger draws of the XFL. Seattle supports their teams. I think more so than almost any city in the country, Seattle supports like a multitude of sports teams.
Plus, they've had success with alternative football leagues. Mm-hmm. Like the Sea Dragons had success. The what were the
Dragons? They were the Dragons in 2020.
they've had success 2 times there. They obviously are able to draw fans. Obviously, that makes the most sense to me. But the issue is the logistics. I mean, it's all the way out on the West Coast. And right now, with how this league is set up, it's primarily Texas and to the east.
Yep. That's the two downsides for me for Seattle. The two big ones are logistically, it's hard just because the one team out west. And I get everyone is in Arlington and it doesn't matter. That team still is.
Eventually, the goal is for
eventually, the goal is to have them, every team in their home market. And then that would make it very difficult. Yeah. And then B, it's, some would say third time's the charm, but I do wonder, as strong as Seattle's like sports fans are, you gotten burned twice. You had the team in 2020 taken away, 2023 taken away. How reluctant are they to get back in?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
that's I don't know how major of a factor that is, but it's a worry.
Yeah, it's a concern.
On the same vein or similar vein, next on the list we have San Diego.
I love San Diego. I've never been there. It's on my bucket list of cities to go to.
Great city.
The only issue for me would be, where do they play?
If they could work out a deal, Snapdragon's perfect, I think, where SDSU plays, because I think it's only 35,000 for that stadium. It's a 35,000 person capacity.
Stadiums in San Diego.
I think Snapdragon would be my play. The Fleet, they had.
There's no way they can play in Petco.
In what?
I'm just talking out loud.
No shot.
What about this Terriano Stadium? That's too small. Too small.
Dude, I'm saying Snapdragon.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it'd be perfect. It's like a newly renovated stadium. The crowd size would be perfect. I get it was 2019. I get it was the AAF. The AAF had pretty inflated crowd numbers, but they were drawing near 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. And also that was fresh after the Chargers had left.
Yeah.
But if you're a professional team coming back into San Diego, it'd be sick to get them as a dual package with Seattle. Mm-hmm. And have two West Coast teams.
Yeah, that'd be good. Get a little logistics going.
Because the downside's the same. It'd be all by itself out in the West. And now you're also in California with who knows how expensive it is to just be out there.
Yeah.
Next on the list, New Jersey / New York.
Again, makes sense. But where did the New York team play last time?
So the last team that was in New York would have been the Guardians. Okay. The Guardians in 2020. They played at MetLife.
They played at MetLife?
Dude, they played at MetLife.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you this, the crowd did not it looked sparse. There was 15, 16,000 people there. 17, I think, week one, or the first game they had there. And even that looks sparse.
Okay. I think we talked about this last time about potential places for New York.
The pros are so obvious. It's TV market, huge city. You'd want that in there, but the cons are it's super expensive. There's no great place to play. Every stadium there that's not gigantic is tiny as hell.
All right, so here we go. Football stadiums in New York.
What do you have? And it also would be a natural rival to the DC Defenders.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I mean, but for me, I just kind of feel you gotta, for places to make sense, there needs to be an MLS team there, and you can play in their stadium.
Does New York not have an MLS team?
They have two. I'm trying to see where they play.
I think that'd be a good vibe. An MLS team or at least a mid-sized stadium. I don't think you need something tiny, but mid-sized.
All right, so right now, the New York Football Club plays at Yankee Stadium
Well, that's not doable.
But at Fed Park is a soccer-specific stadium under construction in Queens.
Oh. Keep the option. We'll look forward to that one. I do.
The stadium is pretty cool.
I'd be down. The other negative for New York, and I don't know if it would be a negative for Chicago. New York's not like a football city for spring football. I don't know.
I mean, but that literally that's a good point. Let's when is the month this goes on?
It'd be starting in March.
March to when?
March till depend. I mean, if you add more teams, maybe go a little longer, but March till around June-ish.
All right, so let's be realistic here. So let's look at it. If you go to New York, you got the Mets, you got the Yankees, you got the Rangers, you got Islanders in the NHL playoffs, and then you got the Knicks, who probably for the next couple of years with Brunson and Towns are probably going to be in the playoffs. So it's never going to be the frontier thing that is going to be going up against it.
That's the tough thing with New York.
And Mets. In terms of Chicago, I mean, Chicago, the White Sox are the worst ran organization ever. Jim, literally, I went to the White Sox Rockies game for $1, and there was 100 people there. And I mean, but that's the thing. There's nobody there, and it's so far south. It's on the south side. It would only basically be the Cubs because right now the Blackhawks are, rebuilding, and the Bulls, are the Bulls. They're just stuck in mediocrity and always going to be battling in the NBA playoff. So you're not going to be battling for that much here. I mean, just kind of the Cubs stuff. But if you could do something here where you tie it to bars in Chicago, like I preach all the time, or something to tie it to the Cubs, if you're able to work that out, that would be huge. You'd obviously natural tie-ins, but New York, there's just so much shit going on there. I just don't think you'd be able to compete.
I agree. New York, it's so hard to get a foothold in, and even if you're winning, I think it would be hard. You have the huge swath of people, and maybe that gets you there. Just having a shitload of people, maybe there will be more people interested. But I don't like taking that chance with a city like New York. Compared to Chicago, and additionally to all the things you said for Chicago, I think if you put a winning team in Chicago, people will by osmosis. People they love winning in Chicago. They crave it. They crave it so much. Damn right you do. Now, up next on the list, Erik, New Orleans.
Where do they play?
See, that's the tough thing is where what's Tulane Stadium? Where's Tulane play?
Can they get in there?
If they could get in there, that'd be perfect. Because I don't think Tulane has a massive stadium. That would be sick. The reason I like New Orleans is because outside of actual in-market stuff, New Orleans was I believe, number 3 TV market for the UFL last year.
Really?
Yeah. They were behind St. Louis, they were behind Birmingham, and then it was on average, I think New Orleans was in the top 4 for TV market for the UFL.
Interesting.
So I think there's a desire there.
Okay.
I think there is a strong desire there for spring football, and I think if they brought back a team like the Breakers from the USFL, I think that could work out there. If they could get where Tulane is, that would be fantastic.
Tulane football.
I get that the Breakers were powerful, and also it would create a nice natural rival with the Stallions. If they could bring, I think that area would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's 30. I mean, maybe. I mean, if you're able to get some money in there, I'm sure Tulane would do it.
That would be sick. And, you could kind of, bring the whole Louisiana versus Alabama stuff back into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down. I think New Orleans would be sick.
Yep.
Up next, Orlando. The biggest issue for me is where the hell did they play?
Where did the Guardians play?
The Orlando Guardians. Let me remember. Orlando Guardians. Let's take a look. Where did they play? They played.
Camping World Stadium.
I think. Let me see. 2023. Orlando. Yeah, Camping World Stadium.
The host of the Pop Cart Bowl.
That's kind of sick. I dig that.
The only thing is that too big?
Record attendance there was 75,000. That set the record there. Capacity is 60,000.
Yeah.
It's like on the verge of too big potentially. Also, like the Guardians, I get it. The Guardians didn't play a home game till later in the season, and they were pretty like bad at that point. But they weren't drawing huge crowds.
I still think, like, realistically, it's hard for us because we really don't know what the goal is. If I'm what I do, if I'm The Rock, or
Moose Johnson,
or whoever's calling the shots, is I try to work something out with whatever city I'm in, if there's an MLS type team, to try to work something together. So that way I'm just using their facilities but it's like across everywhere. It's in an MLS stadium. So there's some sort of like unity across the board.
Trying to like build rapport with the MLS.
Try to get something there. Because the one thing that MLS has done is just done a great job of getting fans in the place. And if you can learn from them and do stuff from them, I think just having these games in these huge stadiums is just purely a bad visual. When we look at how it looked on TV when it was at DC game, the place always looked packed. When it was like in Memphis or in Detroit, it looks a little empty because those places are just way too big.
They're massive. And maybe eventually they get there, but who knows how long down the line that'll be. It's probably like a slow growth sort of deal.
Yeah.
Up next on the list is Tampa Bay. Similar reasons to Orlando. It's tough. If you're going to go south, I wouldn't mind having a team in Florida. Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay did show out in 2020. Like, they had good fans for the Vipers. Again, though, they played at an NFL stadium. They played where the Bucks play.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that.
It's tough. That's a tough look. And personally, I'd rather, this is my personal preference at this point. I'd rather them not go south. I'd rather them go another East Coast team. Would love another Midwest team, or anywhere west at all.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, up next on the block, Eric, is Canton, Ohio.
Makes sense.
Home of the USFL championship game for both seasons, and also last year, I believe, home to the were they the Stars and Panthers were together. They were the Maulers and the Generals were in Canton.
Can make sense because there's a stadium right there. You can get the rapport going.
And they already have it with the USFL.
Yeah.
And guess what happened this year is the Pro Football Hall of Fame reported lost revenue. And they even mentioned that it kind of hurt not having the USFL in town.
Really?
They did mention it.
That's interesting.
So, I mean, the games that were held at Canton in the USFL were sparsely attended, but none of those were a Canton team. Okay. So I think if you have a team that is, like, Canton's not a huge city. I think it's only like 60, 70,000 people. Mm-hmm. So that's maybe a detriment.
I've never been to Canton.
It's not huge.
Yeah.
But I think if you have something that the city can get behind, and I think having the proximity to the Football Hall of Fame, if you have access to that field, would be powerful. And I think even at the very least, I do think it would be good for the league to kind of like use that as maybe a neutral. At the very least, if you don't get a team there, it would be fun to have like that be your championship spot.
Yeah, just have that be, hey, this is where our championship team
Because
is.
it, I'll be honest, I went there for the first USFL championship in 22.
Mm-hmm.
With 20,000 some people there, it felt so electric.
Okay.
And that's only 20,000 people. It
Yeah.
doesn't seat much more than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. I mean, like that again, to me, it's all about optics when you watch it. Because like literally for the quote unquote casual fan, if you turn on a game and there's literally nobody there, what are you gonna do? You know what
It's
I mean?
tough.
Like it doesn't make sense. I mean, I have a couple cities I'm gonna throw out here after you finish the list.
Get the Canton Bulldogs. Okay, I'll let you throw off some and I'll see if I got them on here. I'll tell you if I have them.
Philadelphia.
I do have Philadelphia. No, I didn't have Philadelphia on the list, did I? No. I would love it. They have connection team-wise. No one has tried it since, like the 80s? I don't think the XFL in 2001 had a team in Philly, did they?
No.
So, I personally would love it. Again, a rival for DC would be great.
And Philly's a football city.
Philly's a great football city. You win and they're going to love you. Where are they playing in Philly?
MLS Stadium.
MLS. How big is Temple Stadium, too?
Oh my God, they can play there too. Where does Temple play? Does Temple have a new place? I'll be honest, Temple's in a real bad neighborhood though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lincoln Financial Field.
Oh, so the Temple plays at the Link?
Yeah. So, no.
Yeah, Jesus, no way.
No. MLS, though. Dude,
Yeah.
Philly would be sick. Oh, I do have Philly on the list. Philly would be awesome. I think getting more East Coast teams would be sick. I think the East Coast loves football. And I think springtime, it's starting to get warm out. It's going to be a good time. And if you start earlier in the season, maybe you get like a snow game to start this, like game 1 in the snow.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
That'd be sick.
I got a couple more.
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll keep telling you if I have them or not.
Denver.
I have Denver, and I would love Denver. And I know we're on the Shady Sports Network for this too. And I know Sam has been advocating for Denver forever. One of the best cities that, like, when they had an arena football team, supported the hell out of it.
And
they love football.
They can play in their MLS stadium.
And they can play dude. And I think Denver would go so hard. I think Denver would be awesome. And I think logistically, I think traveling from Dallas to Denver, like in the immediate future, I think Dallas to Denver is an easy plane ride. Both big airports. Denver would be sick.
Last couple, Kansas City.
Kansas City also would be awesome. I do worry that no matter what, you're going to get just like overshadowed by the Chiefs. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, like, people attend the Royals, people attend the MLS there. It's just a good
true.
Kansas City's a very underrated sports town.
Growing city.
Very underrated sports town.
Again, I would love it just because both these last two are way easier for me to get to.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis would go hard.
I think.
I don't have Minneapolis on here. Let's do it.
And the last but not least, to me, this is the city that makes the most sense. Jim, what did I say all last year about getting teams into? Should teams use to get fans into the stadiums? Tie it into the bars, right?
Like the local bar and food scene.
Now, what town is this spring football? What town, what city is known for having a great outdoor bar type scene at night.
Where are we going, Eric?
We are going to Nashville.
I would love it.
I mean, dude,
The
you
only
could,
issue
yeah.
is you have a team in Memphis.
Okay. But I mean, but again, you have to, this comes where it's at. Like, what's your priority? Is it to give it, is it regional expansion, or are you trying to put it in markets where you're going to draw people in?
That's true.
Or if that's the case, so hypothetically, let's
because I would love that. The rivalry with Nashville, Memphis, right there. Great nightlife. You could build it up.
Do you think there'd be more people that would go to a game in Nashville or San Diego for them for the UFL?
I would think San Diego.
You really?
I would.
Okay.
If they, again, this all is dependent on how well they market the team going into the markets and embrace the community and things like that. I think if Seattle, did you say Seattle or San Diego?
San Diego.
I think if San Diego is given a professional football team to wrap around,
you think they'll a wraparound?
A little wraparound.
Okay.
I think they will embrace them.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. I just kind of feel
I would love Nashville though.
I just kind of feel like Nashville, you have the bars, everyone's walking around there drinking, you can do stuff. It's, to me, I think that would be a real easy thing to get fans in there. And again, I mean, I don't mean to beat a dead horse. I think, to me, the best thing you can do is you get it when you visually turn this on and there's fans in the stands. It looks like people are live watching it. No one wants to watch a game when there's like nobody there, just because you're like, oh, this game probably sucks.
It's fair. It's fair. Okay, I'm gonna do a rapid round for you real quick. Just tell me your immediate thought for these next couple. Columbus, Ohio.
I have a crazy ex-girlfriend that lives there. Hard no.
Oh, I personally love it.
Hard no.
Omaha.
I mean, you get the Midwest vibe. Yeah, I like that.
I would also love it.
America.
No professional. Like, if you give us a professional football team here,
yeah,
potential. There's potential there.
Okay.
Omaha is also like a good bar scene too, like underrated. You were said Denver, Salt Lake City. They had the Stallions back in the AAF. Decent turnout.
Maybe called the Utah Football Club. kind of like how their hockey team is called. Utah Hockey Club.
Please no. I think Salt Lake City would be good. I think it's like a up and coming spot.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Someone said Vegas again. Try Vegas again.
No.
Back to Cashman, baby.
No, hard no.
Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Atlanta's
number one team in the AAF.
Atlanta's a weird. Have you been to Atlanta before?
Never been.
Like, the layout of the city is just weird.
I think it'd be a good spot though. I think it'd be fun.
It kind of depends where you're going to be. Where do they play?
Where do the Hot Shots play? That was sorry, they weren't the AF teams. Atlanta was not the Hot Shots. Arizona was the Hot Shots. Atlanta was the Legends.
So I mean, you would have to play though at Mercedes-Benz though.
Is that the only spot?
Yeah. That's where the Atlanta United play.
Oh. Let's see. Did they ever get to play? Okay, so they did. Where did they play? No, they played at Georgia State Stadium, Center Park Stadium.
Okay, all right.
That's where they played, which holds.
That works.
How many people does that hold? Holds about 25,000.
Okay.
Right there in Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta, not bad.
That works.
Going down the list, we have Louisville.
Play at where the Cards play, so I like it.
I think Kentucky could go could you? I think Louisville could support it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Where do you play?
That's the question. I have no idea where you would play. I have no clue where you would play.
I mean, like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Like, I go to Milwaukee a lot. The only thing up there is like where the Brewers play. Obviously, you're not going to be able to play there. There is like a Independence League baseball team up there in Kenosha, but that's like 20 minutes, 30 minutes south.
That's the big issue there. I think Milwaukee, if they had a spot, would support a team. I can see it.
Like the minor league hockey team they have there has been really popular. Like the big thing, and there's always been a push to get an NHL team there. I don't know if Milwaukee can support an NHL team, but people.
I mean, they can support a UFL team.
They turn out, man. Like they would turn out there. And do you remember where the Packers used to play?
No,
they used to play in Milwaukee.
That'd be sick. San Jose.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt with the team. I was like, maybe. In a different vein, someone after that suggested Oakland, and I was like, okay.
I think people would be more in tune to come out in Oakland.
I think so too. I think Oakland, if you could find a spot to play.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the A's aren't going to be using that stadium anymore.
Yeah.
Turn that into a hey, bring football back to Oakland.
Yeah.
I think people could embrace that.
Oh, they totally would. Totally would.
Pittsburgh.
I like that one a lot.
Big football city.
Yeah, huge football city.
Would you have to play at Heinz?
You would.
Okay. If it were the Maulers, I feel like I don't know if they'd be allowed to wear those colors, the Steelers colors that they had in 23.
Oh, rest in peace, my Maulers.
But hey, also that'd be bringing the Maulers back,
which would be fun.
That'd be awesome. Someone suggested Oklahoma City, one of the also decent TV markets in the UFL. My big issue with that, I think maybe they could do it. I don't really know much about Oklahoma City. I haven't gotten to them yet.
No.
It's basically like adding another Texas team, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
When it's like you already have 3 teams in Texas, and I get, so Eric, when you brought up the question of would you want regionality or just the next best city, I want a little bit of both. I don't want the Texas League, which also on the list, someone had Tulsa.
No.
No.
I mean, obviously, I think that if they're gonna go like in the Tulsa, Oklahoma City range, I think the place you go is Dallas.
They already have a team in Arlington.
Doesn't matter. Because like
they already have a team there.
But I'm just saying, Texas is a huge football city, right?
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get people there.
You cannot put 2 teams in the same city. You can't do it.
I bet you people would go, man.
You cannot do it. Cincinnati.
No.
Just what's your gripe with Cincinnati?
How can I word this? I don't think people would show up.
You don't think Cincinnati shows up for football?
They didn't show up until Burrow was there.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like that town was nothing with Burrow, and with I just don't think teams would show up. I mean, like if you're gonna go to Ohio, what's the best town to go to?
I would go Canton or Columbus over Cincinnati every time.
Canton by far.
Hey, don't knock Columbus.
I'm not Columbus. Fucking hate
Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, I like that.
Gets a little hot out at the end of the season.
It would be a little toasty.
Getting a little toasty into like June and whatnot.
Would get a little toasty, but that would be fun to watch, though.
That'd be very fun. I think Phoenix would go. Arizona showed out when the Hot Shots were there in the AAF.
Yeah.
Again, It's hard to compare 2019 to now, all that stuff. But I think Phoenix would be a pretty good option. I'd dig that. Someone said Los Angeles to bring back the Wildcats. As much as I personally love the LA Wildcats, and they got decent crowd sizes.
Yeah.
You run in the same vein as New York. Of it's not a football city. Like they barely support the Rams and the Chargers. They're not gonna I don't know, man. Maybe if it's like just a built up, this is like the LA. I just don't know. I love the games there. I love the LA Wildcats in 2020. I just don't see it. Someone said Vancouver.
I mean, like I think Toronto would be cool. I think Montreal would be cool.
Dip your toes into Canada a little bit.
So here's one for you. Now just hear me out. Hear me out before you say anything.
I'll see if I have it on the list.
Boston.
Oh. New England presence.
Let me see. Where do the MLS stadium.
Do they also play at Gillette?
Where?
I did have someone suggest Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, I like that.
Baltimore would be kind of sick.
Baltimore would be sick. I'm trying to think.
Where do they play in Boston, Eric?
I'm trying to find it. What about Miami?
Miami is the same issue with like LA and New York. There's just too much. It's not really a football city.
They play at Gillette.
Yeah.
But they are supposed to be in a new stadium, though.
How big is Boston College Stadium? How big is Harvard Stadium?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, Boston College's is only 44,000, dude.
That's it?
Yeah. Harvard's is 30,000.
That's not bad.
That'd be kind of sick.
I got one for you.
Lay it on me.
Cleveland.
Did I not have Cleveland on the list? Cleveland would go hard. And it's like if they're a winning team, if they're run right and not just like into the ground, yes, Cleveland would be awesome. I think you just wanted to. I think if you're gonna go to the Midwest, if you get a team in Ohio, you're like naturally already developing. Guess what? You can have a rivalry with the Michigan team.
Yeah. Yep.
Right there. I had someone said Madison.
Yeah.
Not touching the college town. I understand that. Someone said Hartford, Connecticut.
The thing with Madison is you need to realize like once
like when the college season's done, it like dries out.
Yeah, well, not when the college is just out of out of term or whatever.
Which for half the season it would be.
Yeah.
What about Hartford, Connecticut, Eric?
No.
Someone had an interest.
What about like Boise?
So I was just about to say someone put Boise here. Another person said Fargo.
Okay.
But Boise, a pretty like decent sized city, a state like Illinois, no professional team. Idaho. I could see it.
And I mean, they draw too. And they've had random sporting events there. Like tennis's Davis Cup was there, and the
Potato Bowl.
You know what I mean? Like
the Idaho Potato Bowl went hard.
Stuff like is there and it sells out. So that would be a good one.
The last one I have on here, Eric. Someone said, I have two. Sorry.
Yeah.
You want one or two first?
I want two.
Des Moines.
Okay. I was thinking Iowa. I like it.
Des Moines. I think Iowa, similar vein. Big football stuff. No professional teams. I think they would support it. Consistently, like, supporting arena football. Herb says Oklahoma. We did say Oklahoma City. Someone did say Oklahoma City. The proximity to Texas is the only thing that kind of gets me right now.
What about one of the Carolinas?
I had Charlotte on here.
Okay.
Someone also said, isn't Myrtle Beach in around that area?
Yeah.
Where else could we go? Raleigh.
Yep. Yep.
Last one I have on here is Indianapolis.
Not bad.
What's
Not bad.
So they would want to probably do it 2 at a time. What are Uncle Rico's top 2 expansion options? We'll end with this. What are your top 2?
Canton and Nashville.
Mine would be Canton and New Orleans.
Okay.
And then put the Maulers in Canton.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
do it. I don't care. No, because you'd want to bring, like, one of them would have to be an XFL team. The other would have to be a USFL team to keep the conferences the same.
Okay.
So the Canton Bulldogs, or whatever the hell you want to call them. And then the New Orleans, bring back the New Orleans Breakers.
What about, no, I can't think.
Cleveland also underrated from what you said, Eric. I would dig that. I would dig Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, random, just like go to Wyoming.
Just go to like
Alaska. Juneau, Alaska.
Fucking Anchorage.
Yeah.
Where in Wyoming would they go? Would they go Laramie or would they go Cheyenne?
Laramie.
They could go Cheyenne. They have a big rodeo thing there. They could just play where they do the rodeo.
Okay.
Just go back to Vegas. You know what? Do Vegas again. Try it again.
Just run it back.
Run it back. Run Vegas back. It was a great experience.
Let's do it. We're running her back.
All right, folks. That'll do it for this episode. Give us a comment or a reply or wherever, a review of what city you want to see the UFL look into. And make sure you go over to Royal Retros. Get yourself some 10% off with that promo code SPRINGFEVER, all one word, all caps. And more importantly, check us out next time at YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. We are everywhere here. The garage is endless. Follow that man at UTOP21 Sports. Follow me at XFL Gym. Love you guys. We'll see you next time for another episode of Spring Fever. Bye.